Good evening and a very warm welcome to the beautiful Swiss town of Villars. Famous for its winter skiing, but now it's time for something completely different. We are live for the speed finals. This is the 4th Speed World Cup of 2019, and I'm very pleased to have Canadian Alana Yip alongside me tonight. Alana, thank you so much for joining us for this live stream.
Of course, anytime.
I have to say, we were just looking at some of the qualifying times of the speed competitions this season already. This is the 4th Speed World Cup. Fastest qualifying times of the season so far, just to get into the top 16.
Yeah, for the men, it seems like every competition, everyone's getting much faster. It's crazy.
And we will be starting with the men's competition tonight, shortly followed by the women's, obviously. And I would say overall, pretty good conditions. It's been super hot today. You were climbing in the lead qualifiers earlier today. What would you say about the conditions?
Yeah, it was warm. Definitely. And in the morning, the first climbers were climbing in full sun. And then as it went on, the wall got shady, but the air temperature rose quite a bit. So.
You can see the scenes here in Villars. The crowd is just being amped up by the local MCs. They certainly know how to put on a big show here in Villars. I'd say the crowd has been kind of building all day. A lot of them were hiding from the shade, hiding from the sun, I should say, in the shade. But this is the women's start list then. It will be the men's first, but this is the women's. Yiling Song, world record holder, will be out alongside Kabuchin Vigileoni, Patricia Kujiak, Ikma Nurao, Mingwei Ni will be up against Hesnia Petrova, Alexandra Kaluchka. Further down the list we have Dee New, Elizaveta Ivanova, Andrea Rojas, Natalia Kaluchka, Anna Brozek, Anna Julbert, Miho Nanaka, also to see her through, Maria Krasovina and Anna Siganova. We will talk about that women's field a little bit later as we go into the women's competition that will be starting very shortly. Let's have a look at the men's start list though. Here we are then, a lot of big names coming out in the men's competition. World Cup winners in there as well. Alexander Shikov, Rishat Kabulin, Xixing Zong, Sergei Rukin, Jinbao Long, Jan Kriz, Cao Long, Danny Boldarev, Bassa Mawem, Ludovika Vasali, Xiongbyom Lee, Reza Aliporshena Zandifar, Dmitry Timofeev, Alexander Shilov, Lev Radatsky, and Vladislav Julian. And we do have world record holders in both the men's and women's field tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and the wall is homologated, meaning world records can be set here, so it should be an exciting...
Pressure's on. I mean, we were just about to get underway here, but take a stab in the dark. Do you think we could be on for a world record tonight?
You never know, but I hope so.
It would be exciting indeed. The first pairing is out then. It's going to be Alexander Shikov versus Rishat Kabulin. In the round of 16, we're going, it's knockout from this stage onwards, so climbers will go head to head. Unlike the qualifiers, it was based on time. This is complete head to head competition. Climber who wins goes through. We will just be waiting for the graphics to come up on screen. There we are. Shikov on the left. Kabulin on the right. Good start from both climbers. Early slip, unfortunately, from Rishat. Shikov got to 6.33. 6.35, I should say.
That was really interesting. Both climbers are doing the sort of new Tomoa skip sequence where they skip hold number 4 to the left.
Yeah, this method that we're going to talk about, I think, quite a lot tonight is the skipping of hold number 4 that's really come into this 2019 season.
Yeah, I think it was only sort of demoed for the first time in the World Championships in Innsbruck, I believe, or maybe just a bit before that.
What an effect it's having, it seems to be really
so
knocking time off. Like some people saying, if you can dial this sequence in, missing the hold number 4, we will explain it as we go along. You can potentially knock around half a second off your time, and when we're talking about thousandths or hundredths of a second to see who wins and who doesn't, it's a huge difference.
Personally, it knocked about a half a second off my time as well. So.
Next pairing is out then, Xixing Zong and Sergei Rukin. Zong, one of the absolute legends of the speed climbing game. He'll be on the left. Sergei Rukin will be on the right from Russia. Interesting that Xixing Zong's got the armbands on around the forearms. So conditions are quite good for traditional climbing here. Conditions really quite cool now. A lot of the speed climbers really sort of cloving up behind the wall in the isolation zone just behind us. Zong on the left and Rukin on the right. Little wobble from Zong on the left, but it was on the right. Sergei Rukin, false start, so Xixing Zong automatically goes through. One false start and you're out. That is the brutal nature of speed climbing. Absolutely savage. Just have another look. I actually thought Xixing Zong wobbled a bit at the start. Maybe he just put Rukin off a little bit. There's the wobble on the left. It was early away on the right-hand side.
You can definitely see that one. It's interesting in speed climbing. There are 3 beeps, and you after the third beep is sort of the go beep, but you have to wait a 1/10 of a second before you're actually allowed to leave the pad. Sort of reaction time buffer. Sometimes you have people fully false starting before the beep, and then sometimes you have people that false start, but it's just sort of their reaction time is.
And it's the nature of one full start and you're out, and even in the qualifying one full start and you're out, it's savage. Next pairing is ready though. We have Jan Kriz from the Czech Republic on the right against Jinbao Long. 5.75 in qualifying for Jinbao from China on the left. Good start from both climbers. Jan Kriz using his height advantage a little bit, it seems, through this early section. Really clean from both climbers. It's going to be a tight one. 6.182 from Jan Kriz. Takes it on in the end on the right-hand lane.
Yeah, they both got quite a even good start there.
Yeah, let's have another look at Jan. It does seem really quite clean all the way up. I think he could improve on that time though. A couple of slight errors in the lower section.
Et alors surtout on vous parlera de la méthode tout à l'heure. Alors là attention, on a un géant, le géant qui nous a occuperait une dernière vol
blistering 5.75 actually. Really, you know, with this qualifying we talked about it a little bit. Just the amount of climbers under 6 seconds to go through in this men's competition is insane.
Yeah.
Next race up then, one of the Legends game, ex-world record holder Daniel Boldarev from Ukraine on the right, against Cao Long from China on the left.
It's interesting to see too, it seems like all of the Chinese climbers who have gone have started very much underneath the start holds and then done the Tomoa skip sequence that we talked about. And well, Jan did not. He started very far to the right, and I think Daniel will as well.
I really think that's the difference between a traditional speed climber who finds it difficult to adapt to this new sequence and some of the other athletes who are really making progress by changing the sequence. It's Cao on the left then, at Boldarev on the right. Both climbers make a good start, but Cao just makes a slip, 2 slips it is, and Daniel Boldarev will go through in a nice quick time, 6.032. Good to see Daniel Boldarev back in action on the speed wall and looking quick once again.
Vous avez vu, là on n'est pas encore dans les temps records, on est quasiment à 1 seconde 5 du record, et pourtant ça va déjà méga.
Nice and clean all the way up, slight stumble at the top at 6.032. I think you'd be quite happy with that.
Need the top.
Yeah, I think once you see in your peripheral vision that your competitor has slipped, you can just dial it down a bit and make sure you don't fall off.
Yeah. Go at a safer but slower pace.
2 World Cup winners, and Basamauim 2018 speed overall champion on the left, go head to head next. Basamauim will be on the left, and Ludovica Fasali, Ludovica the winner from the RAFO competition in Scotland last year. Sometimes tends to be a little bit kind of inconsistent, I would say, with his speed climbing. He's always got the potential, but sometimes struggles to put down the really good clean runs and results. Basamauim on the other end, 5.68 was his qualifying time, right up there with the quickest. One of the favourites for this competition, for sure.
I think he's always one of the favourites.
Mauim on the left end and Fasali on the right. Good quick start from Mauim, but Fasali's right next to him at the moment. This is a really close one. Bass is absolutely following, 5.76, blistering time, quicker than his qualifying time. It looks like Basamauim has turned up for this final.
Wow, that was a good race.
C'est comme ça, c'est le chaos, et pourtant il était les tous les deux, c'était vraiment les champions.
Sehelan, a good clean run so far. There's been a couple of slips here and there by a couple of Chinese athletes, but overall looks like they're. In seasons past, I think we've seen a lot of slips and a lot of mistakes, but now the consistency really seems to be there.
Yeah, I agree. It used to be that for sure that almost every other pair or something would slip.
Out next then, world record holder Reza Aliporshen Zandifaha on the right against Xingyong Lee from Korea on the left.
See if he can match his time or best it. His 5.48 time.
5.48 a while ago now since he set that. Let's see if our prediction of the conditions will suit Reza or anybody else.
Speed climbers tend to like really warm conditions though, because their body stays.
Yeah. Well, if they've been out in the sun catching a few suntans today, they'll still be warm. If my skin's anything to go by. One of the big runs here, one of the big pressure races of this round of 16. Reza on the right, Lee on the left. Good quick start from Lee, but Reza goes straight into his stride. Lee does make a slip, but Reza's absolutely flying here. Does dial it down a little bit at the end. And still records a 6.075.
It's a shame that Lee slipped so early on there.
6.075.
Probably knew he had to give it everything.
Second quickest time of the night, just behind the Borderev's qualifying time. Quick time's going around here already. That's the third quickest time of the night, because Bassamao is down there in the 5-second department already. Race is coming thick and fast here. This is the final run of the round of 16. Vladislav Julin, who we did an interview actually with. Hopefully we'll see that a bit later about speed climbing and about this Samoa skip that we keep mentioning. Here we're going up against Lev Radatsky. Russian pair go head-to-head at the final run of this round of 16. As always in speed climbing, action comes thick and fast.
Alexander, il a 2 podiums, 5-7 pour Shilov, 5-50
Alexander Shilov and Dmitry Timofeev, I should have said. Russians head-to-head in the next two pairs. Timofeev does make an early slip as Shilov gets it going nicely, gets a good rhythm going, but Timofeev is showing his class and catches up.
Shilov had an early lead, but he did slip after doing the Samoa skip. That was interesting to see the two Russians side by side, one doing the skip and one not.
Yeah, you can see on the left, Timofeev actually made a few mistakes lower, but
and then Shilov made 2 mistakes.
Yeah, he's going to be ruining that mistake, a big mistake at the top. Improves, and you can see it head in the hands. He couldn't quite believe that he managed to recover and win that race. Dmitry Timofeev ends up going through. Dmitry was the guy who was talking about who we did this piece on.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to see that. If the break occurs during this stream, it would be really good to bring that bit of information for you guys at home. For some of you, lots of you will be speed specialists and fully fans of the speed climbing game, but for those who are new, it would be great to show you that a bit later on.
It's really cool that there's sort of 2 sequences and they both seem to be extremely fast.
World Cup winner Julin on the right. He'll be going up against another Russian. Lev Radatsky on the left. This is the final run of the top 16. I got 1 race ahead of myself, but we're back in the game. Julin on the right, Radatsky on the left, and Julin gets the better start, does the Samoa skip at the bottom, but Lev Radatsky looked like he was catching up, but Julin gets it in 5.899. Another quick time into the 5s. 5.899 it was in the end.
Bassa holds on to that fastest time of the night.
Yeah. I think early on it's a sign, isn't it? I think what form and mood Bassa's in. We saw him actually, the isolation zone is just to our left, warming up, and yeah, you wouldn't want to get in his way, let's put it that way.
I don't think I'd want to get in any of the speed climbers' way.
Very true. Let's just have another look at this final run, both using the same technique, but on the left-hand lane. Lev just made that slip, half height. A very clean run from Vladislav Julin. It was 5.899. That does conclude the first round of 16 in the men's competition. Moving into the women's. And Alana, very impressive time to get through. Not quite as quick as some of the best season times we've seen in the women's to get through into this top 16 from qualifiers.
I believe it was actually sort of the quote-unquote slowest round, but still it's really exciting. It
was 8.64 seconds that got you into this top 16. Actually, 5 climbers going under 8 seconds also, so it certainly wasn't a slow round, but it was consistently just a little bit slower than some of the previous qualifying competitions we've seen this year. Actually, this is the 4th League World Cup. First race is going to be world record holder Yiling Song. 7.101 is her record against Capuchin Viglioni from France on the right. Yiling Song makes a blistering start, as we would expect. So clean all the way through. Gets it done in 7.483. No real surprises, and importantly, no upset there from Song. She's kind of really out for redemption after the World Cup just a couple of competitions ago, where she really struggled, kind of out there to make a name for herself again. It was Wujang where she actually just got knocked out in the first race after so much hype. With her breaking the world record and then falling so easy to make the slip in lead climbing and falling. But she gets the first
lead climbing.
Speed and lead. Very similar.
Pretty much the same words.
It was Song that went through nice and clean, no upsets. Then the next race is on Igmar Nural and Patricia Trzewiak.
The first of 4 Polish climbers here.
Both went through very similar times. Igmar an 8.23 and Patricia with an 8.20. So this could be a tight one. Trzewiak on the left then and Nural on the right. David Trzewiak makes a better start, but Nural seems to have caught her up very quickly there. This one's very close at the moment, head-to-head currently. Very, very close, but just a slip right at the end from Nural. It was 8.277 in the end from Trzewiak. Just enough, and head in the hands moment again. So much tension here in Villars already. Climbers making mistakes. Some big mistakes as well.
Looked like she just didn't grab the last hold properly there.
Let's have another look. What went wrong here then, Alana?
Oh, not for Patricia, but...
yeah, so this was a good clean run. This is the winner, Trzewiak's run. See, straight away, kind of can't quite believe that she's gone through. Like I said, so much pressure on these athletes already here in Villars. Race is coming thick and fast as always in the speed climbers. Ksenia Petrova versus Mingwei Ni of China up next. It's interesting, with so much pressure. I think that maybe because there's been this 2-month break since Wujang. Speed climbers, they have to travel back from China, get back into their training rhythm, and it's quite a long time to think about the next competition. You know, I think sometimes that's worse than just doing them back to back.
Yeah, could be.
Petrova on the right and Ni on the left. Good quick start from Ni. Petrova's got some work to do here to catch up. She does just stumble once again in there, but Ni does just slow down in the middle section and does slip. This is going to be a tight one. Oh, in the end, Petrova brings it back with 8.799. It was a brilliant comeback.
Wow.
All the way, it looked like it was Mingwei Ni's race to be won. Ksenia Petrova got it done though.
Shows you why you never give up after just one slip.
I think that's one of the most interesting things about speed climbing, is the ability to regain speed after slipping. And I think the athletes, they train that so much. They train slips just to figure out how to get back into the rhythm, because the rhythm in speed climbing is so important. You see the athletes really going through the kind of the motions with their hands, and it's such a mental game, speed climbing. You don't think about really where you're going to put your hands and feet. You just let the body do the talking.
You don't have time in, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds to do that.
Next race, Dee Nui will be on the right against Alexandra Kaluchka, one of the Kaluchka twins, into the top 16 here in Villars. It's New on the left, right, and Kaluchka on the left. Both climbers got a clean start. Slight slip from Kaluchka on the left, but both climbers head to head at the moment. This is going to be another great tight run. There's a big slip from Kaluchka, which means she opens the door for Dee Nui in at 8.171.
I think we gave them the commentators, Chris. We just talked about how climbers seem to be more consistent this year.
Yeah, that was the big slip. There, it was the right foot for Alexandra Kaluchka. Potentially a big upset there, but we'll see with her sister still to come. And I know you've been kind of looking into the twins a little bit.
Mm-hmm. The two of them competed at the Youth Olympic Games and came 7th and 8th, actually, in 2018. So it's pretty cool that both of them are...
Yeah, happy family, I think, happy parents. Very competitive family, potentially.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hopefully they're not
too
competitive.
I wonder what they discuss over breakfast cereal. Who's going to win tonight? Who's going to take it? Who's going to get the quickest time?
Pretty nice that you always have a training partner.
Next pairing up then, Andrea Rojas versus Yelizaveta Ivanova from Russia on the left. It's going to be Ivanova on the left and Rojas on the right. Quick start, but it's a slip down low from Andrea Rojas and a big slip from Yelizaveta Ivanova. The crowd really rises in response. This is going to be another tight one. Ivanova ends up going through 8.746. Another sort of dramatic race here. Fever pitch here already in Villars. Just slips coming thick and fast, and races coming down to who can regain the speed and the composure to finish the route off.
Oh, it's a shame Andrea's out. She's our one Pan-American the entire
the hopes were on her shoulders.
Yeah, all of Pan-America's hopes.
Will she be one of the athletes looking for a Pan-American spot to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics potentially? Though?
I think so. She's been competing in bouldering, and earlier today she was competing in lead. So.
We'll see lots of action to come for the rest of the season, all the way through to Toulouse in November. So much IFSC live streams to come. Right now, though, we are live for the women's top 16 in the speed competition. Men's 16 have already been. We'll be going back to that competition shortly, but it's Anna Brozek versus Natalia Kaluchka at the moment. 8.25 from Anna Brozek and 8.11 in qualifying from Natalia. Brozek on the right, Kaluchka on the left. Both make a really clean start. Kaluchka just seemed to stumble a little bit at the bottom, but she regains the composure and the speed now. This is a very close race, 7.99. Another quick run, and they're only the second climber to go under the 8 seconds.
That's her qualifying time there.
Yeah, she looks like she has saved something from qualifying into the finals. Do you think it's possible on the speed will really save anything in qualifying? It's your best time that gets you through into the top 16, but do you think they just go absolutely all out on every run? I'm guessing probably not, and they try and save something?
Well, I'm not sure. I think you always want to get one good run. Ooh, Miho. So it's actually, I talked to the Japanese coach earlier. This is Japan's first ever speed finalist. And of course, Miho's first speed finalist.
Well, and probably the first ever combined climber, non-speed specialist to get into a speed final. That's one for the history books. Check that one through.
You can call Anna Siganova a combined climber now. Anouk as well, actually.
It's Miho on the right then, and Gilbert on the left. Gilbert possibly the favourite here, multiple-time World Cup winner. Absolutely blistering so far. Miho's keeping up quite well, but it's 7.7 for Anna Gilbert. Unfortunately, the dream story couldn't continue for Miho on the right-hand lane. She will be competing in the lead actually tomorrow as well.
Lead semi-finals.
Yeah, she's got a weekend ahead of her. But it's Anna Gilbert. Showed her class once again. Speed specialist, 7.99. It was in the end.
I think it was faster than that.
Let's check that time. Keeping up with the speed athletes is seemingly trickier than climbing the route sometimes in the speed competition.
Deux des femmes les plus dangereuses du monde. Applaudissements pour Maria Krasavina.
Final race still to come. In the women's competition, and it's Anna Siganova versus Maria Krasavina. Two Russians up next. Maria Krasavina qualified in 8.01 against an 8.31 from Siganova. So in theory, Maria Krasavina is the favourite going into this final run. It was actually 7.73 for Gilbert in that previous run. Quick work from co-commentator Alana Yip tonight. final run in the 16. Anna Siganova versus Maria Krasavina. Krasavina is the favourite at the moment, but Siganova quickly takes over and slips herself. And another big slip from Krasavina. Oh, who knows what was happening on that road? There was slips and stumbles all over the place. It was Anna Siganova that went through in the end. What dramatic scenes we're seeing here in the women's speed competition. She can't quite believe it, how she managed to slip so many times and still win the race.
Wow, I can't believe it either.
Really interesting. We talked about so many clean runs here, and throughout this season, in this round of 16 in the women's, we're seeing lots of stumbles and slips, and no slips that cause the climber to actually fall off, and the race continues, and it kind of adds this weird level of pressure, and they keep making mistakes off the back of each other, I think.
Yeah, really interesting.
Siganova went through in a 9.24 it was in the end. There we can see the quarterfinal is going to start in the men's competition next after a short break as the men get themselves ready. It's going to be Alexander Shikov versus Shixing Zong, followed by Daniel Borderev versus Jan Kriz, Basamauin versus Reza. That's going to be an early big race. Two of the favourites going head to head in the quarterfinals. Then Dmitry Timofeev versus Vladislav Zulin. Here comes the first pairing. It's going to be Shixing Zong on the right, and Alexander Shikov, nice close-up of him there, just preparing his starting position. And Alana, you have an option here with the starting pad. You see the climbers bending down and adjusting it. What makes the difference as to where you want to place it?
It kind of just depends how you start. You'll see the people who do the Tomoa skip, like we were talking about, maybe want to start with their body much more directly below the start holds, whereas other people start more to the right.
Well, these two are very experienced and will no doubt know exactly where they want it. It's Zong on the left and Shikov on the left, and Zong on the right. It is Zong who goes out the quickest but does make a big slip and falls. Shikov actually fell off as well but managed to keep it going at 6.88. Another race where there's a big slip.
Two big slips.
Yeah, and the opponent manages to keep it going. 6.880 in the end. There's the big slip and somehow he still won the race. Double tap at the finishing pad there. I think Shixing Zong's going to be really disappointed. It was a big fall early on in the route. That's the thing about speed climb. You can't leave anything to chance. You just got to go out there 100% on every single run at this stage in the competition.
And at that 100% level, it's much riskier, slipping and falling.
I think the athletes have to accept a percentage level of slipping, basically. Like, I know I will slip at some point in this competition, and if I don't, I'm in for a really good shout. I think that's kind of how they approach it.
And if I don't give it everything, I don't have a shot at doing well.
Yeah, exactly. When it's this tight, it's Daniel Boldarev versus Jan Kriz next. Two of the biggest athletes in the competition going head to head. Boldarev went through in a 6.03 versus Jan Kriz's 6.18. So can Boldarev keep up his quick times? It's Boldarev on the right and Jan Kriz on the left. Good clean start from both athletes. Big rock back from Kriz, and this one's really tight head to head. Boldarev just slows in the middle slightly, and it's so close on the buzzer. Jan Kriz takes it with a big celebration. Let's look at the time. 5.997 versus a 6.011. So close, and you couldn't call it all the way up. It was head to head. It looked like Boldarev had a slight advantage at this stage in the route, but just a slightly cleaner from Kriz at the top. And great moment. Big pressure already here in the men's competition. Big moments coming thick and fast, and none potentially bigger at this stage in the competition, because it's Basamauin, the 2018 overall champion, against the world record holder Reza Aliposhena Zendefar. Here a big cheer goes up in the crowd. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, it's almost a shame that they're competing only in the quarterfinals together.
Yeah, like you said, this is going to be a big race because it's just going to determine potentially a big result here. One of these climbers you would have thought has a good chance of going into that first place runoff. Which one will be? It's going to be Bassa Mawim on the left versus Reza on the right. Big noise from the crowd as they prep. Slight technical issue with the pad at the bottom. They will have to reset. They will just double check exactly what went wrong there. The sensitivity of the timing equipment is, well, it's sensitive.
Yes,
to say the least, but they have got it sorted. Technical delegates are happy. Let's hope it goes cleanly, just to add to the anticipation here. Bassa on the left, Reza on the right. Really good start from Bassa on the left. Reza's got a little bit of work to do, but he is doing it just on a big slip, and it's 5.65, and Bassa takes it with a blistering time. And a big slip from Reza. I thought he was catching up there. This is where they were really head-to-head. Reza on the right just had a slight advantage, but then a huge slip to finish, and Bassa takes it. And I think when he looks back at that, he'll be quite happy that Reza had a slip there, because he was a touch behind. 6.55 in the end, slightly quicker than his, slower than his previous time. So not the cleanest run from Bassa there. Maybe the occasion going against Reza head-to-head there just slowed things down a little bit. Bassa will be going through. Next race then, the Russians go head-to-head. Dmitry Timofeev versus Vladislav Julin. Vladislav was 5.899 in the previous race. He's looking really quick tonight. So interesting watching the Russians go side by side, head to head. It's going to be Julin on the right and Timofeev on the left. Julin makes a slightly better start, and it's really close here, but Julin looks like he's got this one, and Timofeev's catching up, and Timofeev does catch up. Dmitry Timofeev with a 5.735 takes it on the last couple of moves.
Wow, yeah, I did not think that he was going to quite get there.
Let's have another look at this stage in the race. It did look like Vladislav had it, but it was just at the final move.
Really, the last move.
Dmitry Timofeev took it in a 5.735. Quickest time of that round. So Dmitry Timofeev's on form here tonight. That does end the semi-final in the men's competition. We're moving swiftly back to the women's. Another great round of speed climbing. Good scene so far, Alana. Thoroughly enjoyable speed final so far.
Very exciting.
This is how it looks. That's up next. The semi-final in the women's competition. I'd say the crowd here is looking pretty decent, and they are thoroughly enjoying the action. Lots of drama. If you have just joined us, Mike Langley and Alana Yip, we are live here in Villars for the speed finals. Not the league finals.
No, that's tomorrow.
Off we go then with the women's semi. Song versus Patricia Shujiak will be the first race. It's going to be Song, the world record holder, on the left, and Shujiak on the right. Song went through with a 7.48 versus an 8.2 from Shujiak. With a 4, Song is the favourite going into this one. Obviously, she is the record holder. Shujiak has got it all to do.
Oui, parce que c'est elle qui invente cette méthode, c'est eux qui, les Chinois, ils sont redoutables.
Shujiak on the right then, Yiling Song on the left. Both climbers make a really good start, but you can see the Tomoa skip at the bottom there from Song. Really gains her that half a second. Looks like she's going to take it away with ease, so it's 7.239.
Very speedy.
From Song in the end. Really good clean run. I have to say, Elena, she rarely makes a mistake. She looks so fluid throughout the route from the very first move. It's not just about skipping hold number 4 for her.
She did make a mistake there.
But I have to say, from the qualifiers watching her yesterday, every run, her fluidity on the route is quite special.
Yeah.
Allez, big
applause for
Next race will be D-New versus Ksenia Petrova, excuse me. Just catching up on my notes there. Petrova went through in an 8.79 versus D-New's 8.17, so both in the 8 seconds territory at the moment. Can we get another athlete down in the 7s to join Yiling Song? D-New on the right and Petrova on the left. Good run from both climbers so far. Oh, big slip from Petrova on the left. It looks like D-New is going to take it. That really cost Petrova on the left-hand lane. She was looking really good up to that point. 8.475 in the end from D-New. She goes through. And that one, unfortunately, wasn't a race to the buzzer. It was a slip on the left-hand side from Ksenia Petrova. Couldn't quite get it back. An 8.47 in the end, as I said. Not the cleanest run from D-New, but at this stage in the game, as it's a head-to-head knockout competition, it's about going through, not what time you get.
Yep. No matter how many slips you have.
Or how close you get to the world record, it's about beating your partner. If you get a new world record, but someone going next to you gets a faster new world record, you're out, unfortunately.
That would suck.
That would be bad. You could live off the glory and for the 15 metres you lower down, I think, and then you realise,
yeah,
unfortunately I've gone out. We'll see. In theory it could happen. Next race though, it's Kaluchka on the right versus Ivanova on the left. The next pair wait for their beeps. Little flick off the start from Kaluchka, but it's Ivanova who gets the cleaner start and is making really good progress here. This is Ivanova's to win here. Takes it in a 7.35, very quick time.
Yeah, it looks like Kaluchka got quite a slow start there.
Actually, off the start, she sort of rocked back, and I think the timing-wise on the third beep, she was a little bit slow, just rocking back in. Ivanova was just no flinching off the starting blocks at all. Powered up the wall for a 7.35.
Oh, this is a big race too.
Second quickest run of the night. Yeah, another big race. It's Anna Joubert versus Anna Tsiganova, two of the heaviest hitters in the women's speed competition, go head-to-head here in the semi-final.
Two climbers that are really speed, like primarily speed, but they're doing combined. I believe Anouk is the French combined champion.
Yeah, we saw her on the lead wall earlier on.
Anna as well.
Yeah, and to go through the day, hot conditions that we were saying in the lead competition, it's 25 degrees plus on the wall. To go through that and then to compete in your main discipline that evening, it's a big day out, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Joubert on the right then, and Tsiganova. Gotta get them left and right there. Joubert on the left, Tsiganova on the right. Joubert does make the better start. Tsiganova just behind at this moment, but Joubert is powering towards the finish here, and she does do it in a 7.590. Alex Joubert, another clean run from her. The amount of times that we've said that, very rarely fails on the speed route, gets a really clean run most of the time. Perfect execution for a 7.59. She's happy with that double fist bump to finish. 3 out of 4 climbers went through that semi-final round in the 7-second mark. Just D-New outside with an 8.4. Yiling Song went through in the quickest time though with her 7.23. Followed by Lizaveta Ivanova 7.35 and Anna Gilbert's 7.59. We do continue then in back to the men's competition.
Fanny, on a la chance d'avoir une médaillée.
Are they taking a short break here?
Yeah, I think we will be taking a short break. The compulsory rest period between the rounds from the semi-final, ready for the big final and the small final. Top 4 climbers in both categories will be displayed to the crowd. Take their applause.
Pour la première fois, à voir sur YouTube c'est une chose, à voir en live c'en est une autre.
So you can see the sun has set here in Villars, temperature is dropping rapidly. How you feel?
Regretting wearing shorts.
Regretting wearing shorts but loving the action.
Yeah. It's thrilling, all the adrenaline's keeping me warm.
Absolutely, and like you said, it's quite interesting in climbing in general, with bouldering and lead climbing. We talk about conditions a lot, and we want it to be cold and crisp. With speed climbing, like you said, and I think it was a really good point, just to be that bit warmer, so you it's kind of a different muscle group. You want to be kind of a bit hotter, a bit warmer. And you can see in the isolation zone, that's the climber's view back there. Shortly we'll be seeing the top 4 in each category, but there's just a bit of space off to the left as the camera is panning around, where we see a lot of speed climbers really doing shuttle runs, sort of jumping up and down, flicking the legs, flicking the arms. It's a very different scene to what we might expect in a bouldering and lead competition. Here we go then, this is the finalists for tonight. Top 4 men, top 4 women will be announced to the crowd to take the smiles, take the applause, and we'll be fighting it out for a place in the grand final. It's the small final and the big final coming up next.
Wow, it's 3 Russians through.
Yeah, in the men's competition it's Alexander Shikov, Jan Kriz just getting announced to the crowd at the moment. Vasa Mauim there, like I said, 2018 champion. Next, possibly the guy to beat tonight, but Dmitry Timofeev actually went through that semi-final with the quickest time. It's hard to call either of these categories tonight, I would say. Vasa certainly a favourite with the crowd,
Yeah,
that's
sounds
for sure.
like it.
He's brought his fan club with him, that's for sure. Final climber being announced is the Russian Dmitry Timofeev. Blisteringly fast all the way through the competition here. 5.71 was his qualifying time, and down into the 5.7 still through this round of 16, through the quarterfinals and into the semi-finals. Very, very consistent from Dmitry. In the women's competition, see Chinese athletes side by side. Russian and the French. That was Yiling Song, world record holder, next to her, Di New. I always find this compulsory sort of rest period and the moment where they just stand here in front of the crowd. It's a good opportunity to rest, but I always feel like the speed climbers want to get on with it. They're always in this frame of mind, like, I just want to go, I want to go fast, I don't want to stand around, let's get on with this.
That's true, but in my experience, if you don't rest for, at least sort of 6 to 8 minutes between speedruns, it's not as good.
Well, I think that's one really interesting thing about the speed climbing, is the ability to recover and race again so fast. This is 15 meters climbed somewhere between 8 to 5 seconds. It's insane. And to go through that competition back-to-back runs, back-to-back like they are, with very small amounts of rest between runs, like you say, 5-6 minutes just to get ready and go again is very impressive. Good sportsmanship seen on the stage there as the athletes high-five themselves ready and they go backstage.
I've noticed everybody seems to be really good sports here, smiling and congratulating their partner when their partner wins, that sort of thing. It's good to see.
It's definitely one of the features of climbing in general, isn't it? It's going to be Alexander Shikov versus Jan Kriz first, followed by Vasa Mauim and Dmitry Timofeev. In the women's competition, we'll see shortly, Yiling Song versus Di New, Lizaveta Ivanova versus Anna Gilbert. And I think at this stage in the competition, with so much drama already in the women's competition and in the men's competition, you really couldn't call this one tonight, I don't think.
No.
With edge of your seat stuff, I think, all the way to the very end.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I'd be surprised if Yiling Song slipped.
Well, stranger things have happened in speed climbing.
That's true. Maybe I just put the commentator's curse on her, I don't know.
Let's hope.
I hope not.
Let's hope for some quick times, that's for sure. The winners of these races will go through to the big final. The losers will go head-to-head for the third place run. We will be bringing you those races as soon as we can. Out of the darkness into the light they come.
Celui qui va gagner passe en grande finale et l'autre se retrouve en petite finale.
It's going to be Jan Kriz
on
the right-hand side.
Alors là, tous les deux, hein, ça c'est des records personnels de 5,92 et de 5,49.
Alexander Shikov on the left.
3 podiums de victoire pour
6.88 for Shikov and Jan Kriz at 5.99. So Jan Kriz, going by the times in the semi-final, is the quickest into this one.
Attention, tenez-vous prêts.
La Suisse a trouvé son speaker.
Shikov on the left then, Jan Kriz on the right. Kriz makes a really good start on the right-hand lane, but Shikov sticking with him and overtakes him at this stage in the run, and looks like he's going to take it. Alexander Shikov does take it, and will head into the final.
And make a big applause for Kriz from
Put Jan Kriz into the small final.
Yeah, good run. It was one of those ones that was really neck and neck and well. Alexander Shikov just brought it home at the last couple of moves with a 5.892. She qualified with a 5.63, so that's his second fastest time of the competition here in Villars. Bassa Mauen versus Dmitry Timofeev then up next. He brought his fans with him, you can hear him from a long way off. Big moment here in the speed final. It's going to be Timofeev on the right and Bassa Mauen on the left. Who will be joining Alexander Shikov in the final? Bassa makes the better start, but Timofeev is right there with him. All the way neck and neck at this one, and it's going to be a really close one. Oh, it's Timofeev who takes it.
By 0.06 seconds?
Oh my days, that was so close.
Wow.
You do not get much closer than that in speed climbing. Let's have another look. It was so close, you couldn't really call it all the way up. We couldn't tell. It was going to come down to who touched the buzzer the quickest, and it was Dmitry. Just had the height on him on the final jump. Superb action. Dmitry loves it and goes through into the final. Bassa is going to be fighting for another medal, but this time it will be for a bronze. Superb speed final so far here in Villars. Straight back to the women's competition. It's going to be Yiling Song versus Dinu. First up, Song go better than 7.239. She's got some work to do. She's been in the 8 seconds for a while now. 8.34 qualifiers, 8.1 and 8.4. So on paper, Yiling Song is, speed climbing terms, a fair way ahead on this one. But let's see what happens.
Strange things have happened tonight.
So easy to make a slip. Will Song go absolutely full gas? It's Song on the left then, and New on the right. Both climbers make a good start, but it's Song who's streaking away just at the moment. She's powering ahead, just makes a stumble and a second stumble. Almost opened the door there for Dinu, but in the end, Yiling Song just showed her class by bringing it back with a 7.42. She will go through to the big final.
And to note that Dinu, I think that was her first sub 8-second run.
That's just a replay of Yiling Song in the top section. You said stranger things had happened, Alana, and I thought there was almost 2 slips there from Song. I wonder if the pressure of the moment got to her, but it's so easy to slip on this speed loop. We are moving on. It's going to be Lizaveta Ivanova from Russia versus Anouk Joubert from France. And it will be on the right. Ivanova on the left. Ivanova went through with a 7.35 versus Anouk's 7.59. So this is, once again, got the recipe to be a tight one.
Definitely going to be exciting.
I love the focus on Joubert. She has this routine of eyes closed, focus, breathing, and just get ready for the run ahead.
It's interesting how everybody looks different in their focus routine.
Ivanova on the left then, and Joubert. It's a false start on the left from Ivanova. heartbreak, unfortunately, to go out at this stage in the competition with a false start. And it will go head-to-head in the final then versus Yiling Song.
I guess that just saved Anuka a whole 15 meters of effort.
Well, I mean, we sort of semi-joke, but that is a big deal.
Yeah,
I think,
it is
at this
actually.
stage in the competition. There's two parts to that. I think one is you don't get a run to get another run in the bag to feel the flow of the wall, to feel the flow of yourself. But I think at this stage in the competition, that's a better thing because you get a rest.
Yeah.
You're one run.
I think they
fresher
know the wall well enough right now.
Well, I think it's not necessarily knowing the wall, but I think a lot of athletes, they like to be on the wall, especially in speed, to kind of go through the rhythm, kind of, just feel, like you said, they know exactly what they're doing, but just to be out there on the stage in front of the crowd and kind of be a part of the occasion on that run. We will be taking a short break just as the athletes have to have a compulsory, I think. We're scouting the rule book, checking with the IFSC delegates the exact amount of time they're supposed to have. 4.5 minutes rest, and whilst we are waiting for those athletes to come out, we have a clip describing this Tomoa skip, missing hold number 4, that we recorded earlier on today. So over the last few years, speed climbing has become more and more popular, with the combined athletes joining in with the speed athletes. This has really meant an evolution in some of the techniques used. I'm here with Dmitry Timofeev, 4 times World Cup winner. We think it's 4, it might be 5. He uses this method of skipping hold number 4. So can you tell us where this move of skipping hold number 4 originated?
The first time, absolutely first time, it's created in Russia. I remember it. It's idea of Alexander Shilov. Now he's competing here, but it's a classic standard movement. It's a moving where Reza stay a new world record. And now, what you mean about skipping number 4? It's first time try Tomoa Narasaki. It's a bouldering national team of Japan, and he tried to do the standard, the absolutely classic speed start without 4. What he mean? And now the best start, it's like a Chinese guy. He do absolutely perfect line in start, and it's absolutely perfect start for all competitors, not only for bouldering guys. For speed climbers, it's absolutely better.
And in the women's competition, Yiling Song from China, she's the female world record holder from the start of this season. Some people suggest that she managed to take off half a second using this method.
I think she broke the world record only because this movement is creating in Japan, and all girls now try it. I think it's an absolutely best start for girls. I think it's a way to the 6 seconds for girls.
Welcome back. That was a really interesting insight into this methodology that has kind of developed over the last season, with climbers starting to skip hold number 4. And it really seems to have made an impact, and we really focused a little bit there on that method, but also on Yiling Song. Her world record really, a lot of people say, was based around the fact that she's starting to use this method of skipping hold number 4. And as a combined athlete yourself, I'm guessing you're using this method.
Yeah, I am. I think most combined athletes now are. The only people that are sort of using the old sequence are speed climbers that have been entrenched in the sequence for so long. Like you'll see Jan on the left side here, and even Bassa, I think.
So we are on then with the small final. This is the race for 3rd place. So it's going to be Jan Kriz on the left versus Bassa Mawim on the right. Bassa narrowly missed out on the previous run. So close against Dmitry Timofeev. Jan Kriz was with a 5.997 in the previous run. This is for 3rd place then. Bassa on the right, who makes a good start, but Jan Kriz is right there with him. Both climbers slip neck and neck on the wall, but Bassa Mawim slips once again. This is all over the place. 7.77 from Jan Kriz. Another ridiculous race here in Villars. Alana, you shouted what through that, and I'm absolutely with you, because what is going on here? People are just slipping all over the place. I don't think it's got anything to do with the conditions or anything like that. It's just the occasion and just the storyline tonight.
Maybe it's the colder conditions.
I mean, maybe, but
I mean, rubber doesn't stick as well in the cold, right?
There's got to be something up here, because this is Bass's massive slip. At this bait, he just seemingly gave up and then restarted the engines, fired back up, at which point Jan Kriz had a huge slip.
And then slipped again and again.
And then Basser had a huge slip again at the top. It's so hard to describe what's going on. His climbers are slipping all over the place. It was the right foot from Jan Kriz that went there. He got it going again straight away, and luckily he did, because in the end he took it. Jan Kriz goes away with a World Cup medal. Bronze for him, and Basser misses out. A big upset there potentially for Basser not to go away from Villars with a medal of some description, but we move on to the women's. This is the small final in the women's then. Continu of China versus Elizaveta Ivanova of Russia on the right. Great start from Dinu on the left, but another slip from her. Ivanova's just got to bring this one home now. Steady away, hopefully, and she will take the win. She doesn't seem to slow it down at all. Elizaveta Ivanova, a really good clean run, a 7.586 to take away the bronze medal. And look at that, after that false start in the previous run, really great that she could come back and get a good clean run.
And still get a medal.
And maybe that false start effectively could have been seen as a rest as well. Maybe that could have had an impact there for her. Goes away with the bronze. Happy with that, smiles all around. Great scenes here in Villars. They have just joined us, unfortunately very close to the end of the Speed World Cup here in Villars. Mike Langley and Alana Yip here talking you through it. It'll be a short break as we get ready for the final.
Very short.
It's going to be Alexander Shikov versus Dmitry Timofeev then. Russians go head to head in the big final. This is for the gold medal run then. The biggest moment in some of these climbers' lives right now. Dmitry Timofeev, we saw in the footage there, somehow he reckons he couldn't remember how many he's won. He said 4 or 5. I'm sure he knows really. This could be 6 for Dmitry. Alexander Shikov is in his way though. He is on the left and Timofeev on the right. The race for the gold medal gets underway. Go both climbers head to head. This is so close. Timofeev slightly ahead of the moment, but a big slip from Timofeev, and it's Shikov who takes it. And he knew that he was slightly behind there. Alexander Shikov didn't slip at the top and takes away the win. Dmitry Timofeev looked like he was ahead all the way, just by a slightest margin, right up to the end, and a big slip, as we saw from Batamarian earlier in the competition, right at the end. Alexander Shikov takes away the win in the men's competition. Let's have another look. Both climbers got a really clean start. They both used that Tamura skip sequence there. At this point in the competition, I think really Timofeev was slightly ahead, and there's that big left foot slip right at the top. An absolute agony. Slap of the legs, at which point Timofeev realises he's won. Great scenes here all the way through the competition. Here we go then, this is the final, the big final in the women's competition. Anouk Gilbert will be on the right, world record holder Yiling Song on the left.
Exciting.
A real clash of the titans run here. The crowd drop into silence. Song on the left, Gilbert on the right. Good quick start from Song. Gilbert slightly behind at this stage. Yiling Song's got to keep it together to take away the win. She does seem to take a big slip and opens a door for Anouk Gilbert. Yiling Song had it all the way from the first move. A big slip at the top, exactly, almost like an instant replay of the men's competition. Anouk Gilbert was clean all the way. slightly slower, but took away the win. And it proves, as we said earlier, Lena, it's not necessarily about how fast you go, it's about beating your opponent and keeping your runs clean. Anouk Gilbert, she does it time and time again. She's so consistent and takes away another speed gold medal. Superb action all the way through. Let's have another look at this stage. Yiling Song really in speed terms was miles ahead, but it was a big slip just before the penultimate hold. And Gilbert kept it together all the way.
That's kind of crazy how both big finals were determined by a big slip right at the same place.
Let's have a look at the results then. There you can see it. Alexander Shikov takes it just behind him with that big slip. It could have easily been round the other way. Dmitry Timofeev from Russia in second, and Jan Križ from the Czech Republic takes away the bronze medal. Absolutely brilliant races all the way through the competition, and high drama, Anna.
Very high drama.
I'm not sure if I've seen a speed competition like that for quite some time, where
it's thrilling.
Climbers are going really head to head, and it came down to slips really.
Yeah.
Which was ironic really, because we were talking about.
Kind of a shame though.
In many ways, it is a shame because the races were it was determined by who slipped and who didn't, but at the same time it made for really interesting races.
Yeah.
And a really good show here.
Definitely.
Really good show, and that man Jan Križ coming out for his flower ceremony certainly was part of that show. Very slight bit of coordination, getting it right for the flower ceremony from the Russians. They get it together in just about enough time. I think the organisers want to get on with this before
it looks like
their coats on. You may just be able to hear behind us the media crane that's coming down from the top of the wall is coming down, photographers dropping out of the sky. And once again, a round of applause for the men. It was an absolutely brilliant final. Third place, Elizaveta Ivanova was really good. Yiling Song couldn't match that third win of the season for her. She has to settle for a silver. And Anouk Gilbert once again takes away the gold medal. I think looking over her history of the last kind of year and the last season, I think she'll be really pleased to be back on the top of the podium.
Yeah. I think so.
We will be bringing you athlete interviews shortly with the winners. But for now, Anna, I just want to kind of go back to what we were talking about, the slips on the wall. I think from our position here, we couldn't say whether it was the conditions or not. But it really did make for quite interesting results. And we saw it there, as you can see on your screen, with the women's final. For a race to come down between Yiling Song and Anouk Gilbert to the final move, effectively. We saw it in the men's Noel and down to a slip. For you, is that a disappointment that it wasn't like right head to head, right to the buzzer?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, obviously it is the climber's fault if they slip. It's nothing other than that, but I think it's always more exciting to see consistently clean runs. And
I do wonder, I think we said at the very start of the show that runs over the years coming up to now and over this season have generally started to get cleaner. Obviously tonight was a bit of a different story, but I do wonder, as more climbers from the combined starting to enter into the speed, if people training will start to see improvements in the lack of slips as well as the increase in speed. I wonder if the consistency is being pushed on all levels.
I'm not sure. I mean, it depends. Like, as you in competition, when you're pushing to find that sort of 105% speed, that's when it becomes really risky, and you're gonna slip a lot more. No matter how fast you are, whether you're a combined athlete who really only climbs about 10 seconds, or you're one of the sort of speed athletes who climbs at 8 seconds or 5 seconds.
So, just putting the spotlight on yourself a little bit here.
Okay.
You're traditionally a boulderer, you're a World Cup finalist in bouldering. You've obviously taken on the combined format.
Yeah.
You've been competing here in lead, speed as well.
Yep.
What do you do now, focusing for the World Championships this year in Tokyo? Is that your focus, to get the good qualifying rankings to go through into that?
Yeah, that is. My goal is to sort of make it to the combined round of the World Championships this year.
And in terms of speed climbing, we're here for the speed. What do you need to do to find those crucial seconds?
Not slip is a really big one. Also, just little things for me, like, I don't know, sometimes I like to bump my foot up a little bit higher, like I hit a hold and then I bump my foot up to a smear or something weird like that. My technique even is not amazing yet.
So it's more like perfecting rather than
Yeah.
increasing power or leg power or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously those factors come in,
Yeah.
but you feel like the
But I
biggest
think I
gains
am
can be made in the sequence.
Yeah, I'm like physically very strong, but I need to be able to translate it onto the wall as best as possible.
And is that a challenge you've enjoyed?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. It's a very different thing, training speed. I'm really lucky to be able to train with Libor Hrodza, who lives in Canada quite close to me. So he's a former world record holder and world champion, and he has retired in the past few years and now trains a lot of the combined athletes from around the world.
It's really interesting to hear from Alana, but we can now hear from the winners down at the front of the wall. It's Anouk Joubert.
Hello, hi Anouk, how are you tonight? Yes?
I just won, so I can.
Good. How did you feel about the competition, before the competition?
Before the competition, I had a lot of stress because I changed the beginning of the route, my method. I had only 1 month and a half to work on it, so it works, but not really perfect for the moment. So it was a big question for me today. Will it work or not? So I have the answer.
That's very good. And actually, so because you changed your method, are you satisfied with your results and how it's going?
Yes, of course, I'm satisfied with the result, but it's totally crazy here. I think I have an angel in Villars because my competition wasn't the best one. I didn't do really good times, but I just went to the top and it was enough to win, so I'm happy.
Good. So what's next? Where are you going to be next?
Next week with Chamonix, we have speed and lead, and all the summer will be a lot of competitions with the World Championship in August.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you and congratulations again.
So interesting to hear from Anouk Joubert there. She's just saying that an angel is looking over her at this competition in Villars. She said she really wasn't in the best shape, and just the time throughout the competition weren't quite there. And it's just amazing how she managed to get through the competition.
Yeah, speed is like that though, and as long as you make the finals, you know, anyone can slip.
Good evening, Alexander. Well done.
Well,
Congratulations
we
tonight.
That in the men's competition,
how
but it
do
was
you
Dimitri
feel
Timofey who
today
ended
about
up
this
taking
competition
the win.
the last couple of days?
Спасибо. Я второй год выигрываю, я очень этому рад. И забег с Димой у нас был как на чемпионате России, и я его опять выиграл, и поэтому я вдвойне рад, потому что удается поддерживать свой уровень.
So thank you very much for the congratulations. This is my second victory in a row here in Villars. So I'm really happy because it was run with Dmitry Timofeyev, and 1 month ago, during the Russian Championship, we had also the final with Dmitry, and I also won on the Russian Championship here again. That's why I'm really happy because really high level of the competition. Yeah, I'm happy.
Of course, thank you. And were you nervous at any time during the competition? There was a particular run that made you more stressful?
Ты нервничаешь? Насколько для тебя это затратно психологически?
Ну, я нервничаю, как на всех остальных соревнованиях. И ничего необычного, потому что уже столько лет выступаю, поэтому не знаю, как обычно.
Actually, I don't have so much stress because I quite experienced athletes. That's why, yeah. So, competition by competition, I have so much definition.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So we look forward to seeing you again. Where are you going to be next?
Куда ты дальше едешь? Что следующее?
Следующий этап Шамани, вот туда.
Yeah. Next World Cup in Chamonix. Yeah. I have some goals to get in Olympic Games. That's why I will try to best my show, to show my best.
Perfect. We look forward to seeing you then. Good luck and congratulations again.
So that was the winner, Alexander Shikov. I do apologise to Dmitry Timofeyev. Did say that he was the winner. Our system just flicked over at the wrong time. Just as I was announcing, that was obviously Alexander Shikov, and not easy doing it via a translator. But absolutely brilliant speed finals all the way through here tonight. Alana, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, anytime.
And we will see you at the next one in Chamonix. Thank you so much for watching and have a good night.